Alright, you should be able to hear me now. How does this sound? The volume of my Astros are fucked up. We got 10 minutes though, boys. We got 10 minutes till it starts. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. W. Alright, can hear. I'm muted. My PC is so fucking loud. I need to clean this shit out. It's so loud. Holy. Let's knock out a few games while we wait. We got about 9 minutes till it starts, boys. We got about 9 minutes. Dude, I really hope, man, I really hope we get something, man. Because they promised us, they said last wipe, we're not going to get much besides continuous because they're working on the water map, bro. And now they're saying the water map's not going to be ready. Man, we better get something. I'm gonna be sad, bro. What's up, Dean? Game is dog shit. Holy fuck, it's cooked. It's cooked. How's Named Arena's been? It's been pretty fun. But, you know, it gets boring after a while. Like, what do you do? Have you guys been? Have you guys been playing much? Like, outside of Arena? Like, I don't even think there's people in the game outside of Arena. Oh shit, Discord updated? Looks crazy. Shit, it's sick. Oblivion in the finals for me? Okay. I like to hop on the finals every now and then. Those are... precinct, though. Wow. Remove all maps. Subzap. Regular Dungeon's dead? Yeah, that's what I assumed. That's why I haven't even tried to go in. I just assume it's dead. Pretty good team. Where's my ranger at, bro? What was this? What was this ranger doing? Oh, the rogue is pretty bad too. Yeah. What do you guys think we're gonna get? Do you think we're gonna get anything this wipe? Surely we get something. Surely. They can't just cook us like 2 seasons back to back. So me and Zaplor, we're talking. Maybe. What if we got second floor goblin caves? What do you think about that? Would that be sufficient? If they just like came up with a surprise, we got second floor GC, a little spider boss or something. Ooh, good shot. How we going? Unlucky. Loot update is all I think. Okay, so they mentioned something about like they're gonna change something with bosses, right? That they were gonna massively increase loot or something? I don't know what the fuck they said. Like a lot of the stuff they're talking about, they don't really explain, so you're kind of just guessing. We'll have to see, I guess. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna showcase the trailer because Odin said he was working on it. Update, yeah, barb helmets get memory cap. Yeah, makes sense. He's ready to hear about how the game's gonna be messed up a lot. Oh, I'm ready. You already know, bro. There's gonna be a whole bunch of excuses. Well, you know, well, we were working on this, but now we understand. Oh. New perk 80% PDR. That, in my opinion, that needs to be, bro, Druid has to be addressed in solos. It can't stay like that, man. It's gonna kill the game, especially with SSF the first couple of weeks. Dude, Druid's just gotta find agility gear and they're gonna wipe the whole lobbies now. It's gonna be definitely cooked. Especially for, like, warlocks and shit. Oh my god, unlucky, bro. Unlucky. Oh my god, oh, he's crazy? Ooh. You're actually crazy, dude. I'm one shot. Just range and ranger him, dude. You got this. Yo, just ranger and ranger him, dude. It's live, it's live? Alright. We gotta hurry up. We gotta wipe this. It's live. Anthony, are you fucking lying to me, you scumbag? Anthony, you're lying to me, dude. Why are we lying to me? It's not live. Son of a bitch. Anthony, you goddamn liar. Somebody time him out for 5 minutes. You son of a bitch. We now allow RMT. Spellcasting in solos is non-existent. They got no compensation after Biop got rigged. Yep, that's for sure. How are they gonna combat, like... Yeah, it's cooked. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ah. Actually got a heal, okay. Yeah, how are they gonna make casters viable in solos? Because Wizard was already unplayed in solos now. Now with no B-hopping? Yeah, good luck. Agility base, 25 strength from Druid. Yep, that's all you need to kill a juice person. Just imagine how everybody else is going to be SSF. It's going to be tragic, bro. It's going to be a tough time. Just got to keep running around until they run out of spells. Oh, you fucked up, dude. Unlucky, bro. I'm gonna die for that, but we take it.
Oh, don't shoot him. Let's run this one. Let's run this one. Me and you. Let's run this one. Yeah, let me heal. You can heal up. Let's
Dude.
No,
Just cook him. Just cook him. The dev cast started, bro. I got shit to do. Cook his ass. Cook his ass, dude. Cook his ass. All right, fuck this guy. It actually did start
ready,
now.
bro?
Now it's up. Alright, hopefully you fucking started 2 minutes ago. Pulling it up now. Watch them say Warlock no longer has torture mastery. Honestly, they need to make it so TM is like a part of playlog, to be honest. Okay, it's starting soon. It's not completely up yet. There you go.
I won't do that again. I won't do that.
No shot you guys fucking lose a 2v1. You cannot make this shit up, bro. It's okay.
I hit him 3 times.
Not good enough, bro. It might be time for a different class, Mr. Rogue. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He was lit. He was lit.
I hit him 3 times, by the way, with Pulf before.
Danny, bro.
Nah,
Ranger, you're getting your shots though, dude. I see you. You're going a little crazy. We gotta finish this quick. I got shit to do. Wizards hurt bad. Rogue. Nice, you didn't get anybody, W. Dude, shields suck. Shields suck. Yeah, he's retarded. It's okay. GG's, bro. May be the worst rogue I've ever seen. It's pretty close. It's pretty close to the worst one I've ever seen. Who's this? I can't, bro. We got shit to do. Yeah, he needs to play a different game. Yeah, what is he doing? What is he doing? Oh, wait, I gotta get it ready. Hold on, boys. I gotta get something ready. Hold on. Give me a second, boys. We gotta get ready. Right there? What do you think? Right there is good? And then what else? What else we gotta get? Are we missing something? What else are we missing? I had that shit fucking saved, bruh. I was ready. I think we're missing something else, dude. Where's the fucking, It's so good. Hey man, Squawks, Dean Machine is just let him crash out, bro. Just let him get it off his fucking chest, dude. Sometimes we gotta fucking crash out, dude. What do you do? Ooh, let's get in the mood. Let's turn my bullshit music off and play my Balladeer song over and over again. Oh, I love this song. It makes me so sad this game's dying, bro. I love this song in this game so much. Ah, just fix the game. Mob cycle looking ass. True. No, he's got the 8 inner gates built in. And don't worry, I'm not gonna be talking a lot when this shit gets started. You already know how I do it. We're gonna make sure it's quiet so everybody can hear.
Greetings, adventurers.
Oh, here we go.
Grab a seat and join us at the tavern table.
It's good. Everything good? You guys can hear it?
I got it right this time. How's it going, everybody? Welcome in. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Tavern Table, episode 3. Sorry if it says episode 2. It was a little error on my part. I closed OBS earlier and forgot to update it. So, welcome in. Hello, Grayson, Terry, SDF. Pleasure to have you guys here. Excited to show a bunch of cool stuff tonight. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
We've already got a sip counter going.
I'm putting it down.
No, let's see if we can beat our record from last time. I mean, what was it at? Does anybody have the number?
What was the record last time?
I want to say it was like 100 and something. Whatever our record was, 141 is what I'm seeing in chat. 142? Conflicting data.
We have, an extra.
All right, well, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and last time we had quite a bit to discuss before we actually got into the meat and potatoes of everything. But this time we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it, and we're going to begin with talking about the adventure mode, the much-awaited PvE game mode.
Yeah. So I think that's the big question that everyone's been, asking about is what is this upcoming PvE mode? So I'm just going to refer to it as the adventure mode. That's what we call it internally. But it's basically, kind of, you could think of it as like a looter shooter co-op dungeon crawler experience, right? So it's basically our overall thinking for what Dark and Darker is kind of evolved but originally we wanted it to be kind of like this fantasy adventure simulator, right? And one of the aspects is, having these super dangerous hardcore dungeons was one of the ways to kind of present that, but that wasn't the only way, right? And so now, we've had that kind of feedback. Hey, we would like more of that dungeon crawling aspect and maybe some of the stuff that's not just so PvP focused. And so this is the time that we're kind of actually exploring that, right? And so we're going back to, hey, using this as a platform for doing more fantasy dungeon simulator, right? And so I think there are a lot of people that are kind of thirsty for this kind of co-op dungeon crawling experience right now, right? And there's not a lot of other games out there that give that kind of our unique take on
Especially the first-person view of our fantasy.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Right. So this is the thing that, hey, I think this is something that we could kind of fill that hole, right? And give people, hey, you could come in. So the goal of this for us internally is like, hey, we want to make this place where you could kind of explore, the world and kind of start learning. I do agree we have a lot of complex systems, right? And it's kind of hard. We just kind of throw you into the deep end all at once, right? So,
that's another thing.
We feel like this adventure mode is kind of the way where, you could start getting, ease into learning this kind of complicated game systems, but also just goof around with your friends, right? Like I was telling Grayson, my sales pitch to him was like, we want this mode to be where you could just kind of hit the start button with your friends, you jump in with your buddies, and you just go in for like dungeon hijinks and shenanigans, just like mess around, just have a good time. And the final thing is that we still want it to be part of like linked to the overall, Dark and Darker, like the hardcore extraction, looter game. And so you're still part of that community. So I think, people are asking like, is this like this one-off, like, Tarkov, like this single player mode? No, it's actual own new mode, right? So I'll go into explaining kind of the structure we're looking at is that now when you go into the world map is you would actually just select your location and then, like Forgotten Castle. And then you select the type of mode that you want to interact with that location. So there will be the adventure mode. So that's the first mode. In terms of increasing difficulty, right? Is adventure mode. The next one would be the normal mode, and normal mode is
0 to 125.
Yeah, 0 to 125. So it's going to be a combined. Again, we had the same concerns with having too many matchmaking pools. So I'll also go into like some of the ways that we're kind of we're kind of predicting ways to reduce like the negative impacts of just expanding too many matching pools. But one of it is right now we're going to combine the two normal modes, 0, 25, 24 and up to 125 into one for right now. We'll see how it goes. And then the high roller is still going to be split into the two modes. So it's going to be there's going to be
2 to 4.
Yeah, so that's the big change to high roller. Is you could do start at 0, right?
Big win for
So
the
0
0 to hero enjoyers.
And then the high roller 2 is going to be the same as before. It's a 225 plus, right? And so, but the other big change is because now we've strided into these 4 modes or these 4 pools, is that we have a lot more internally. We have a lot more tools now to fine tune the balancing between these different modes, right? And so I think there was a lot of worries about, oh, okay, I'm gonna do stuff in the adventure mode, and it's gonna have all this stuff's gonna bleed into all these the PvP modes, and it's gonna cause a lot of issues with the economy and stuff. And so those are concerns, but because now we have the ability to balance per each mode, and per each floor to a higher degree, is that's one of the things that we're gonna really work on, is matching that risk to reward balancing between all those different modes. And so, hey, we want to give places where you have your sandbox that you could play the way you want, but at the same time, you can't get all the same rewards because, the reality of it is there's different, risk settings, right?
Yeah,
So,
on that topic, so there's been a lot of speculation about what loot will be available. Obviously, there's some concerns that people have voiced with like griefing in the dungeon. Do you want to talk about sort of some things that you've put into motion or planned to counteract griefing, and then also to, like you mentioned, make the adventure mode rewarding, but not so rewarding that it's the go-to game mode for everybody?
yeah. So on the griefing side, we're gonna try, blocking out as much of the obvious trolling, but we know that that's not going to be possible. That's stuff that we're going to have to keep on implementing. Even yesterday we were testing, Grace and I, and the slow debuff
For the throwing knives and Francesco.
and we were being chased, and we're on different teams. And I was just throwing knives, and then like this whole pack of, and we're like, okay, so these are things that's on our radar, and we're gonna slowly be trying to put in the preventions for griefing. So but we know that there's gonna be, again, those kind of hijinks and people having these kind of weird interactions.
People love to break the game, yes.
Yeah.
But we have gotten a lot of hints about what some could be, so
Yeah.
that's been nice.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of messages from the community, and like people have been passing along feedback like, hey, what about this? What about this? So it's good to hear from folks in the community, and a lot of that has been added to like the list of things that we're thinking about.
You won't be able to just stand in a doorway.
Yeah, and block. Yeah. So, and then I think, okay, the big question is about like the loot, the reward structure, right? And so that's a lot of stuff that we've been working on to make that match up with the risk, right? The risk profile of each mode. So like I could just give you like actual, concrete. So like adventure mode, the general loot there would be pretty much, maybe up to uncommon and rare, and then you could get the bosses and like the very high value, chests, like the marvelous or the gold chest, and you could get the epics out of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you could still go on an adventure and feel like you're making these kind of progress, and if you go for the high value targets, you could still get like loot that feels substantial, right? But it's not something that's going to be like, oh, game breaking. We don't think, right? Again, we have better tools now, so we could do a lot more of that kind of fine-tune adjusting. But we think this is going to be a good kind of, it gives enough of motivation that, hey, you could have fun here, and you could get things that you feel like, oh, okay, when I do want to make the jump to the more dangerous, I have so I'm not just starting from zero, right?
Right.
We also have, ability to fine tune more for like the quest. So we know, hey, when you don't have the threat of PvP, like go farming like wolf skins, it's gonna be much easier, right? So we're also, rebalancing. So the quest drop rates are gonna be, you know, better, much better with PvP in the modes that have PvP involved.
So
right?
could that be extrapolated as like troll pelts? You'll have a much easier time getting a troll pelt if you're playing the PvP mode versus playing the PvP
Yeah,
mode.
so all of this stuff is
Damn, they're
now,
doing it.
whereas before it
Holy
was just
shit.
like a one universal constant that we had, right? It's like now we can set it for each dungeon mode, right? And we're gonna actually take use of that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I guess like the easy outline is adventure mode. It's gonna have no gear score cap. It's gonna be trios only. So it's gonna be trios only. The reason why it's trios only is we want to kind of limit
Trios only?
making too many pools. But we thought about it. It's like, man, so because there's no PvP, is that we're not restricting you have to be a trios. We're gonna have trios only. We're gonna have the random matchmaking, and you could go in solos, duos with the no, please don't fill my team party. So you have solos there, you have duos there, but because that PvP danger isn't there, it's like we didn't feel like it's a necessity to have a separate match pool for solos only, duos only. It's like, okay, hey, this is just one big party pool, right? And so adventure, that's adventure mode. No gear score,
So
trios only.
one thing about adventure mode is how about the item rarity grade?
Yeah, so that
Unlimited?
yeah, so
Okay.
you could we could set that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just.
Yeah, so we could set that on in
That's
real
just-
time.
Yeah, that's just start trying.
Yeah. Again, it is an experiment, right? So I'm not gonna hard commit and say, oh, okay, we're gonna keep it unlimited forever. But
I think there's definitely some people that would enjoy going in with their having a Fulgore or something and going into the dungeon. It beckons back to the old days of MMOs where a high level player would just be sitting in a low level area and they just got all their cool gear on. Everyone's like, look how awesome that guy is. He's one shotting everything.
yeah, so that was kind of the fantasy that we were talking about when we were talking about, oh, should we limit this? And it's like, so I was actually the advocate. Oh, let's limit it. And then it's like, no, the MMO is like you have the guy that's just like standing in the town square with the full unique set. And you're like, oh, okay, that's what I want to eventually
Yeah.
reach, right? And so, okay, that's a fantasy that we want to endorse, right? So
This
that's
wasn't-
why, right?
Sorry, this wasn't something that we had originally mentioned, but just something that came off the top of my head. Is there any plan to add like an ability to inspect someone while you're in the dungeon only in the PvE mode, just so you can actually see how cool their gear is?
That's a good idea, but
이거가 원래 그 게더링 할 쪽에서는
네.
그런 so I mean so
Just-
there's no
just a
plans
thought.
for that right now. Yeah, but
근데 뭐 필요하면 그쪽으로.
yeah.
이제
Again,
Like
there's
that.
there's stuff that's being research and development side for like things that on this it's more social stuff that was in plans for the gathering hall, and that has kind of a similar
그래서 그 얘기를 해줘야 될 것 같아요. 그러니까 PvE 모드가 이제 우리가 어드벤처 모드 만들잖아요.
네.
근데 그게 이제 파이널라이즈 된 거 나오는 게 아니라 이제 처음
yeah
그거
so
완전 베이직 라인에 있는 거고 그래서 발전시킬 거다. 이제 그런 이야기를 좀 해줘야.
yeah so
Yeah,
the other thing that STF wants to make clear is like this is the first step of, again, we want this kind of fantasy dungeon simulator. And this is first. It's not. We have. We're being very realistic. We know that this is not going to be this nicely polished mode that comes out from the start. But we had this. Is this one kind of just crazy big idea? It's like, hey, yeah, there was that kind of thirst for just a co-op dungeon crawling experience, and also the complexity of our multiple game systems is just to learn all at once with that tension of stress of PvP is a lot to take in. So I think we're killing two birds with one stone right now. But because of that, it's not. Don't expect it to be this like perfect single player or like dungeon crawling experience right from the get go. and we're going to continue building on this, right? And I think that the other thing, you know, this is kind of a reach go with this mode, is that because this is going to have that kind of more emphasis on just, you know, playing, adventuring with your friends, is that there's actually a lot of stuff that if we built for this mode to make the adventuring more fulfilling, is that we think that it's actually going to carry over and make the PvP aspect, you know, dungeon more engaging also. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, hey, we can also use this as a test bed for things that make the dungeons feel more alive, right?
Yeah,
and
there's actually something on the list that we're going to talk about a little bit later, specifically in the case what you're talking about of improvements to PvE or like additional details that make the PvP experience a little bit broader. We have some things on the list, and I agree 100% that expanding the PvE mode has implications for PvP, and in my opinion, you know, we've talked about this a little bit internally, it's only a good thing. Sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to bring up the fact that there's already, I think, some things that are in the works that we'll immediately see with the wipe that are kind of indirect changes that will make a difference in the PvP mode. Since you brought up the adventure mode and you mentioned that there's now a split into normal and high roller, do you want to talk a little bit more specifically about the 4 modes? We've already kind of gone over adventure, but do you want to talk about
the remaining modes? So like the normal mode, so I guess, you know, if you look at it, we kind of look at it, hey, this is kind of the introduction to the looter extraction, you know, experience. It's basically the mode you know right now, except we kind of squashed in the 2 gear scores, so 0 to 124. We know that, again, because that unpredictable aspect of PvP, you know, makes the difficulty go up, you know, so much more, that the rewards have to be better, right? So this is now like the general loot grade is you get all the way up to epic from the normal dungeons, and then you get the bosses in the high value chests. You could get the legendary grade, right? And then high roller is what we kind of call it, like the competitive extraction experience, where now you have like, we're actually, you know, it's super high risk, but you're going for the best rewards there. It's kind of much more hardcore, like much lower survival rates. We're actually like have a lot more tension. I mean, it's basically what the high roller that we experimented this season. That's what it is we introduced the circle and the random portals, so we're kind of actively pushing PvP. I think this season we kind of are, you know, what we failed at with that higher tension was that the rewards didn't actually meet that kind of higher risk rate. And so now we have that ability to kind of fine tune the balance. It's like, oh, okay, this is where the reward rates, we could actually fine tune that to make it, hey, this is super high risk, high tension. But when you do get out, you're like, oh, okay, I got out with like really great loot, right? So the high roller one up to 225, the big change is that we're not going to be dropping named out of the first high roller, right? And so because we do, but the drop rates for uniques, we're going to adjust that. There's some new mechanics going in. So like, hey, you go there, you're the last man standing, and you take out the bosses, then there's a very high, you know, probability that you're coming out with like a new unique, right?
So no artifacts, but you're more likely to see unique items.
Yeah, and then at the same
artifacts,
token,
what?
at the highest one is that's where it's the same structure, but then the reward is just, you know, up 1 degree, right? And then so if you're the last survivor there, it's like, hey, you know, now I came out with, there's a good chance that I come out with like a named if I go through the whole experience.
Gotcha. I think there's some people that have been pursuing artifacts. I myself, in preparation for the named arena, probably killed about 300 bosses in the last 2 weeks and did not get an artifact to drop. So knowing that I could go to 225 plus and have a much higher probability.
Did I miss something,
was
boys?
very exciting.
He meant like artifact drop rate stays same, but regularly drop
so
rates
I
increase.
just skipped over like one last. Again, this is like kind of a side goal with the adventure mode. Is I think, you know, so the the thinking is not that everyone that plays adventure mode is gonna graduate to the PvP modes. I think for some there's some cohort of our the expectant new people that will engage in the adventure mode. Like PvP will probably be a non-starter, right? So, but the other thing is but we do want to give them a place where, hey, if you get comfortable enough, maybe you could give them that little nudge, right? And say, oh, well, I don't consider myself a PvP player, but maybe I'll give it a try because I have this built-up knowledge, right? So we're kind of looking at the adventure mode as also a place where hey, you go in, you learn the systems, and you can kind of practice the dungeons, the monsters, and the bosses too, right? I think where we're focused on too much competition, even bossing becomes this kind of other gateway, and so this is a way that we kind of lower this. We give them steps, right?
Yeah.
For the people that do want to graduate. Yeah.
We
I
know-
only see this benefiting the game in the end of the day.
Yeah,
So that's our goal. Yeah.
we do know that there are, I mean, just from reviews that we've gotten on Steam and from people that respond to us on Twitter, feedback in Discord, feedback on our website, we do know that there are plenty of people and even anecdotal stories from people that play the game that have friends that say, oh, I would love to play the game if it had a PvE mode. I will probably check out the PvP mode once I'm a little more comfortable with the PvE and I'm not just getting rolled over by the skeletons. I mean, we all remember what it was like in the playtests and the early access release when you would watch your kill feed and 90% of people were dying to the skeletons in the first spawn box. So that is the experience for the average player starting the game, and they don't want to get destroyed by PvP. Some of them might, but having the option there to go into adventure mode and learn the game is very exciting for those players. So on the topic of kind of expanding on the dungeon a little bit, was one thing we're going to mention. We're not going to give specific details on it, and I do want to just point out that what we talk about here today is not everything that's going to be coming with the wipe. We want to keep some things secret, so there will be some stuff beyond what we're sharing today, so make sure that you pay attention to the wipe announcement. But one thing that I was excited to see is the return of the Expressman. Now, I didn't write down any details for that, but if you want to share anything for that, feel free. If not, we will go ahead and move on.
There you go.
그냥 간단하게 열어봤을 수 있다. 그냥 매번 내려가면 다운룸에.
Yeah, so he's saying the Expressman, he's coming back. There's going to be adjustments to his mechanic. You could use him multiple times. But again, for us, it's, hey, we put him in. It was a great system. And then we put in the CMM. And it was like, oh, wait, we couldn't get him to work with that version right away. But it was a great system, right? And I think it also goes in with this kind of, we want to kind of, promote people to go explore more of the dungeon. So now he's adjusted, he's coming back. We played around with him already, and it seems like it's going to be a good way to promote people to keep on dungeon delving deeper. So
I'm excited for Expressman. I love Expressman. I mean, I think once the quality of life change came to Expressman, where you could right click stuff and you could just quickly dump a stack of things before you got down to the next, it was amazing. Loved Expressman, and I'm hoping that means Otto will be back as well. I'm sure. I'm already seeing the comments in chat. Everybody's like, "Where's Otto?"
Yeah, he's coming.
All right, so on to something I kind of briefly hinted at earlier. With the updates to High Roller and the changes to the loot that is coming, specifically with uniques and artifacts, there is a boss mechanic or spawning change coming for High Roller. And because of this,
Roaming bosses?
From the bosses is going to be buffed kind of accordingly. So as you explained, if you go down and you kill those, especially the later bosses, you can expect to get some pretty good loot because it is changing a bit how you kind of access the bosses. Do we want to talk about that at all?
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So do we want to go into exactly...
it's up to you. You want to, yeah.
So I don't want to spoil it too much and get people ready to they're already, oh, I know what to get. But we are connecting the sub-bosses and some other side hunting loot to be more valuable towards creating boss spawning items.
Okay, I knew it.
So now when you go in, and this is only for High Roller and for the two High Roller versions, right? So now when you go in, the bosses will not always be there. You will now have to craft items to spawn the bosses. By the way, the items do look very cool. I was super happy with how the items actually turned out. But that does mean that since the bosses aren't always there and you do have to spawn them, you can expect better loot. And also, I think one good change about this is also it gives you agency of which boss you do spawn. So now, if you are more comfortable with Lich, for example, you can choose to spawn Lich, but then that does restrict, Lich's loot pool.
Yeah.
The boss's loot pool to which boss you do choose to spawn. But
might be
yeah, I
a W.
really do think that will be good for the economy. I also think it'll be really nice for players. For example, lower level players just killing sub bosses. They'll have I got this item. I can craft the boss key with this. I think that will help the economy in so many ways.
Wait, and then
yeah,
you can.
as far as the new bossing mechanic, that is how that's gonna go.
That's a good idea. Then you can bring the items
Very
out
exciting stuff.
and just bring them in and spawn them in when you want. That's actually
This is
cool.
actually an awesome idea. I love.
That's a good
I
idea.
love the idea of it being a little bit more difficult to access the bosses and more preparation, more intent being there, rather than it just being like a thing you do because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
And
So
then
can you
also
spawn in
being,
multiple bosses in one
kinda
raid?
buffed as a result.
Or what if somebody else
Yeah,
spawns
as
the
I
boss
said,
in?
you
Can
will
spawn
be
one
able
in?
to, for example, practice the normal version of bosses in PvE mode, so we aren't really taking that away.
Yeah, and regular normal. So adventure mode and normals will both still have consistent boss spawns. They will always be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, cool. All right, well, guys, I have some pretty cool stuff to share with you. With the wipe, there will be an addition of some new monsters. I have 2 of them to showcase for you here. Now, we've hidden the sounds, and some of the animations are not... Well, the animations are finished, but the effects that are not added on these clips. So I understand that this is not the full extent of it, but I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. And on the left here, we have the Abomination, and on the right is the Cerberus.
Dude, that's
These are
sick.
2 very well detailed monsters. I saw some footage from these in kind of system here, and I got to see kind of the design process for these. These are super cool, and this is not the only mobs coming with this update. The other mobs that I saw in there were also pretty sweet. So
Yeah, the Abomination's awesome.
Abomination's crazy!
when we were having our meetings, kind of like discussing what was going to be added to the Tavern Table previews, Abomination was the one I wanted to show up the most because it's just such a cool monster. It is much bigger than you think it is. Put it that way.
Are these sub-bosses or
But
big
yeah,
bosses?
So, do you guys want to talk at all about kind of Terry, on the last episode of Tavern Table, you sort of alluded to a bit of an overhaul of the monsters, not really like any specific details, but just kind of that there was an original design in place, and then eventually that kind of got changed because it was too much work to kind of like retroactively fit parts from other monsters. These monsters, from what I've seen, are really well designed and fleshed out.
I'm
is
hyped
this
now. I'm
sort
hyped.
of the new direction for the monster design? Do you want to talk about that at all, or is that not ready yet?
그 몬스터 쪽에서 그 시스템 쪽에서
뭐 변할 게 있는지 아니면 뭐 정확하게 어떤
그러니까 우리가 그 시스템도 오버하고 있었잖아요.
아 그거는
근데 아직
yeah 스텝이야 저 first step
yeah, we're still so this is not actually this was still made using the old process of just like
Okay.
hand
네, seven Inferno monsters
yeah, so there's now you know the exact number of new monsters, but yeah, these are just so again, this is not the fruits of that back end change that we're still working on. Yeah, this is more like, hey, like to be honest, we're like the water world is such a huge thing, and it's like, oh, it's not ready, but what can we still as like a mail call?
그러니까 몬스터 쪽에서 지금 이제 그 스트럭처 어떻게
Yeah,
되고 있는지
so he's gonna give the actual information on the back.
지금은 이제 테크니컬 디자이너들이 이거를 되게 힘들게
Yeah.
만들었어요. 그러니까 테크니컬 얘기하는 프로그램 없이.
Yeah.
그러다 보니까 지금은 이제 스파게티 코드가 좀 많고 그 블루프린트로 되어 있는. 그 일반적으로 그 게임 디벨롭먼트 쪽에서 말하는 블루프린트 헬
Yeah.
펼쳐져 있는 거야. 그래서 지금은 그거를 풀고 있어요.
Yeah.
이걸 풀고 나면 이제 이걸 뭐 코드로 내리고 이런 스트럭처가 있을 거고 그렇게 되면 그러니까 궁극적으로 좀 더 쉽게 말하면 우리는 디자이너들한테 레고 블럭을 주고 싶은 거예요.
Yeah.
근데 지금은 그냥 완전 핸드메이드 하고 있는 상태인 거야.
Yeah.
그래서 조금
So
느리다.
again, for people that have experience with like Unreal Engine, is basically like all our monsters were made it was made by game designers using the blueprint system without any real help from the programming side, right? And so So the one unique thing about the Unreal Engine, they have a system called Blueprints. It's kind of a visual coding system, and so again, because our monster team, they're very talented, but at the same time they're not really programmers, right? And they were able to make all the monsters in the game using the system, but again, because their background is not in programming, is that a lot of practices are not best practices, and so there are that's why like the same type of bugs keep on coming up. And so right now we're trying to figure out, okay, reanalyze all the system that they made, and kind of translate that into an actual structure with our programming team.
Gotcha.
Right. So like the good analogy is like the best way would have been we make like Lego blocks and give that to the designers, and they could build the monsters this way. But right now everything was like hand built. It's like yeah, and like shaving each little part, and so now we have to kind of pull this apart, see what are the actual core components, build that, and then give that back to them. And that's a process that's being done in the background.
Gotcha. Well, the only reason I brought it up is that when I actually saw the sort of like finished products, there's still some compiling and stuff to be done. They to me they looked like the revolution of the monster design. So it feels like regardless of whether this is the new system or not, it's like headed in the right direction. They're very promising. Especially like I said, as soon as I saw the Abomination, I'm like, oh man, this thing is awesome. Very excited to see these come out.
Yeah. So again, we move like that adage in Silicon Valley, move fast, break. We broke a lot of things. We have a lot of technical debt that we're still paying back right now. But the goal is once we start, fixing these things and, improving it really opens it up for the future when we want to expand really quickly. And yeah, so I think, one of the collateral damage here was the water world is that's being pushed back. It's not coming out this white because, hey, we have all this technical debt that we have to address to make sure when we do a huge, with a bunch of new content stuff, is that things are not all broken,
Gotcha. All right. Well, we do have on the sort of PvE side of things here, we have a few more things to talk about, or I guess the dungeon experience, I should say. One thing I know a lot of people will be very excited about is that there are some new crafting items coming, new crafted items coming with the update. We're gonna only show one of them, and then the rest you guys will see when the actual wipe comes out. Unfortunately, it's just that the 3D model wasn't available for me to grab, so I just have the thumbnail here, so we're going to add it to the screen here. It's going to be down in the center. And that is the Tome of Sheol. It is a crafted spellbook. So finally a crafted option for casters. I know people are going to be really excited about that one. There are other crafting items coming, so keep in mind this is just one of them, but just wanted to briefly bring that up for everybody. It's pretty sweet looking. I love that spellbook tome, or that dark spellbook kind of theme. We were originally going to talk about. I kind of wanted to swap the order of things here, just because it makes a little bit more sense to kind of go off the tail end of discussing monsters and the dungeon experience here. There's going to be a decent number of new quests and quest types coming with the upcoming season. Grayson, you want to talk about those?
Yeah, so, with PvE mode, people will be able to go through the quest a little bit quicker than they usually would. As far as, killing monsters, it will be a lot easier to kill monsters in PvE mode when you aren't really contested by other players trying to kill you. But with that being said, we did want to increase the amount of quests and also, not the difficulty, but I would say the content inside one quest will be a little bit more than previous wipes. And also, the actual amount of quests is increased. We also have a few new quest mechanics. I'm not going to go into that because I just want it to be a surprise. As well as there is so merchants in the past that did not have quests now have quests, and there is an additional merchant that I'm not gonna also share, but you can expect a new merchant coming soon. And that also has its own little unique take on the merchant system. It's a lot different than any other merchant we put in before. But as far as quests, there are a lot more weeks. So usually how the questing works is there is 7 weeks with the final 3 quests at the end of every season, but we have expanded it to 12 weeks plus the final. So that'll give players a lot more content to go through. The last few quest weeks are much harder, but the rewards are much better. So that's a good payoff, I think. But as far as the quest stuff, yeah, go ahead.
The quest will basically be starting right away from the very beginning of the season, all the way up until potentially the end of the wipe, or the week before the end of wipe.
Yeah, right. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the end of wipe, there will be quests, right?
And do you want to talk about? I'm sure there may be some changes with affinity or crafting. Is there anything planned as far as changing when you get access to certain crafting tiers?
Yes, that is changed completely, actually. But yeah, I'll let players wait and see that themselves.
Okay, all right. I don't even know myself. There's a few things. There's some things I like to keep a secret for myself as well. So with that, let's go ahead and talk about SDF has his own kind of. I got a picture right before we started the stream that we weren't sure if we were going to talk about, but we have a plan that some of you may have already heard about, which is that there are HR leaderboards coming up with potentially either at the start of the wipe or being added shortly after. SDF, you want to talk about this?
Well, actually, it's not my design.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a Terrace design.
Well, yeah. So I think we're being too optimistic if it's going to be at the start of the wipe.
Okay.
So our reach goal is sometime, mid-season. But it's just like, people have like pretty fond memories of the playtest, and it was like, okay, like the current system with the adventure rank it was supposed to be a replacement for that with like some kind of skill base, but now we know like the most recent iteration of the adventure rank is not skill based at all. It's just it's just like a time sink kind of thing, right? So for this season, at least for kind of to harken back to like the playtest, is that hey, we're working on bringing back that kind of old style leaderboard and do it on like a weekly rotation. So this is something, it's something light, something fun, something, until we can figure out, okay, what's the real direction we want to do for the adventure rank system. Adventure rank is still going to be here for this season. Again, we're not, we learned we don't want to make too much drastic changes to these kind of progression systems in mid-season. So I think you'll see the big overhaul for that in the subsequent season. And then I think the other thing was the arena. Yeah. So.
그래서 뭐 아까 설명해.
Yeah. So is basically we're thinking at least this season we're gonna try. We have plans. We want to try out a solo queue pool for arena and a solo queue.
Only solo queue.
Yeah. It's like arena we do feel is more of that kind of competitive aspect.
That's a
not 1v1 arena, to be clear.
Yeah, not 1v1. No, it's like the League of Legends style, right? So rank is that you have the party, and then you have
class lock,
the random, where everyone's just solo queue, right? And so the team is made up of, and so I think this is one of the
solo
things that
queue
we're
league.
probably,
Got you.
test out this season is arena solo queue and respective leaderboard to go along with that. So that's one of the goals. But
we don't want to split matchmaking.
So RNG.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna be contingent on like seeing the player population, the participation rates for the arena.
It's gonna be who gets the most double wizards on the team, who gets the most double rangers on the team.
Maybe again, these are all things that is based on the data. We did see pretty good participation rates for arena this past season, especially going towards as the season progressed. So if it's at that rate and that amount of participation, I think we could support too, but we don't know yet, right? So it might have to be like, hey, maybe 1 week arena is, you know, party mode, 1 week solo queue only, or something, you know. This is something that is kind of a wish goal that we have in our minds, and we're thinking about, okay, how to implement this properly, right? But that's something that, you know, we're looking to test this upcoming season.
Yeah, I know that people are. I know for a fact that people are excited about that. I saw Soapy in here that was excited about it. I myself, I like to play a lot of solo arena, and anybody who plays solo arena knows that going up against a pre-made 3-stack, you know, you're just at a disadvantage. So having an option when you want to play alone. Was that?
Yeah. Well, so I think you know, the Soapy discussion definitely had an impact. I think the other thing is like we want to see like class stacking. That's also an issue, but the reason we couldn't attack that full on was like you know, can the population support it or not, right? But if we have its own dedicated, so like we could easily turn that policy back on. And it's like, oh, okay, if there's enough people and still have reasonable matchmaking time. So things are like this is why we want to go, you know, progress with this kind of test, right?
Gotcha. All right. Are there any other updates regarding dungeon or arena that we didn't cover that we wanted to talk about, or are we good to move on?
I think yeah. So actually, SDF and we have another meeting shortly after this, so we might need to bow out a little early. So we'll see.
We're good. We're making good time on the schedule here. We've got some stuff that we could talk about after you guys take off regarding the community side of stuff. But real quick, just to confirm, we've already mentioned this in the Discord, but wipe is confirmed for April 10th. The current plan is to start maintenance at 3 p.m. KST, which is 6 a.m. UTC. I believe that's midnight Eastern, if I remember correctly, but that's roughly what we're expecting for the maintenance time. It can change. It can change, but that's the plan.
우리 셋이
그거 목표고. 근데 이제 시간이 얼마 없어서 그냥 게더링홀 관련해서 좀 빨리 얘기해.
Okay, yeah. So there's the big thing that SDF. The reason he's here, he wants to, you know, his thing that he wants to talk about is the gathering hall.
Okay. 게더링홀을 이번 시즌은 좀 힘들 거야. 사이즈가 너무 커서.
Yeah.
근데 이걸 이제 게임의 되게 중요한 사이클 중에 하나로 우리가 아레나 만들 때 이 아레나가 그 게임의 어떤 또 하나의 사이클로 이렇게 들어왔잖아요. 그것처럼 또 다른 큰 사이클 하나를 만들어주고 싶은데 그렇게 하기에 제가 볼 때는 최소 한 2달에서 3달은 완전히 여기에 풀리 개발해야 돼요. 그래서 이번 시즌은 없을 거고 근데 다음 시즌엔 시작과 함께 있을 거다. 그걸 목표로 이제.
Yeah. So the announcement for the gathering hall, you know, unfortunately, it's going to be pushed back, right? It's not coming out this season, right? Because honestly, you know, when we were looking at it, it's like this is a system that's on the same scale and scope as like something like the arena. Is something that we're looking at as like a critical component of adding another critical loop cycle, or, you know, big game loop. And so for this is when we started it was like, oh, okay, hey, this is a pretty huge substantial system. And so, you know, SCF personally is like, oh, okay, this is something that we're going to have to dedicate a lot of resources to. And that's why it's getting pushed back, right? So he's saying, you know, even with him working on focusing his direct energies on this, he's looking at like probably like 2 months, 3 months. And so the goal is to have it, you know, fleshed out, ready to go for the start of the next season.
Gotcha. All right, well, we will be looking forward to that. I know there's a lot of potential with the Gathering Hall, and I know that people are very excited for a social space, so we'll definitely be looking forward to that. I believe that's everything that we had to talk about as far as wipe details. As I mentioned earlier, guys, there is more coming with the wipe. We're trying to keep, I would say, more than half of it secret. You will definitely hear more about what's coming up when the actual wipe launches. But we wanted to show off some changes that were coming with the dungeon, changes to loot, mention that the Expressman is coming back, addition to adventure mode, you know, potential addition of the HR leaderboards and everything. But aside from that, was there anything else that you guys wanted to add before you head off to your next meeting?
뭐 우리가 놓친 거 있을까요?
그냥 새로운 아티팩트들 이제 만들고 있어서
Yeah, so
시즌 중에 아마 나올 건데 근데 이제 그런 것들은 디테일은 공개하고 싶진 않고요 지금은.
Yeah,
그
so
어렸을 때 익숙해져야
he's keeping
남겨두고 싶어서.
stuff like the content stuff with the core and combat. So he hinted at it. They're going to be rolled out during the season, but he doesn't want to give too much details. That's what he said. So
Okay.
he's working on like new artifacts that are going to be coming out.
Okay. All right. Well, SDF is cooking on some stuff, and we will hear more about it either with the wipe or mid-season. So we'll look forward to that. But other than that, I think we are for you guys, so you can head off to your next meeting. We've got some more exciting stuff to talk about that I think people are going to be very interested in. That is not directly related to the game, but as some people have already speculated, there will be a Twitch Drops campaign. Grayson, you want to talk about that at all? I saw some of the items that are coming up with Twitch Drops, and there's one that we actually have to show off, and I'll let you kind of explain how the decisions were made around that. The Hungering Lantern
So
was pretty
before
sweet.
you start that, I think we have to go for our next get ready.
Yeah,
But-
feel free to go ahead.
All right.
All right.
But thanks everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for coming.
yeah, I know you're gonna have. This is some really cool stuff. So. All right.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
it, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah. So for Twitch drops, they will be going for 2 weeks shortly after the wipe starts. I'm super happy with what we were able to pull
A
out for the drops
lantern?
this time.
Come on, bro.
It will include some in-game related stuff, and so by in-game I mean items, and also it will include cosmetics like last time. I'm really happy about these cosmetics. They look super cool. To be honest, I really think this will be really, as far as the cosmetics go, I feel like we're like stepping up a level. I know Odin will have them to show off soon, at least one of them. I didn't want to show everything today because it wouldn't
We
be
have
fun,
the-
but we will.
We have the Hungering Lantern
Good.
up on screen.
Nobody uses lanterns.
Yeah.
bro.
Oh, do we? Okay, I can't see,
It's for
but
clerics.
I hope it looks cool for everybody.
It's pretty sweet. We've got the concept
looks
art
sick,
and like
though.
the full 3D render as well as the in-game kind of like the spin here. But this is only one of the items that is being added with the Twitch Drops campaign. And do you want to talk about when that's happening?
Yeah. So, as far as the exact dates, the current schedule is on the 12th through the 23rd. So Saturday until the next 2 following Wednesdays. Yeah, as I said, it will be 2 weeks. Compared to our last drops, the time required will be a little bit higher, but there will be a lot more rewards, and there will be, as far as like cosmetics, there are more cosmetics as well. I think the cosmetics are really good, as I said. But yeah, I'm really excited about this Twitch drops. I think it'll be really hyped to go together with the adventure mode releasing. So yeah, that's about it for the Twitch drops part. As far as the actual schedule, we do plan on releasing a trailer if it is made in time. We will obviously give exact dates with a timestamp on Discord so everybody knows exactly when it comes out for their own time zone. But yeah, we'll be sure to include that in the Discord announcement pretty soon.
We've also got some cosmetics that will be available next season. This one I'm going to show off. Since you can't see it, Grayson, I'm going to be showing off the new Gilded Lobby, which I'm going to be quiet so you guys can hear this. Awesome. I love this. I'll just try to talk quietly, but there's a little neat little thing that happens with this lobby that I absolutely love, and I know there's some people on here that are already like, I gotta cop this. All of the rich, yeah. Interrupting the music, I love this lobby, and you might notice that there's a little guy sitting at the table there. That's a new skin that will also be coming and available with the next season, the Gilded Skeleton. He's a special guy. He's got his own little crown, a nice little emblem on his chest. It is a pretty sweet skin. I've actually seen it in games, and it looks, I mean, you're seeing the preview, but it is like super shiny and golden. It's very cool. So you can expect all that to come in next season. There will be even more stuff that we have not talked about and that we haven't shown. I'm going to pull up the Discord camera here so I can show off I'm gonna pop this stuff in here. You can say hello. He's got a little torch of his own right there. And there's another item that'll also be shown in the corner there next to the Hungering Lantern, which is another new torch skin that will be available next season. No confirmation on what the stats are on the skeleton, guys. I know everyone's already saying it's MDR. We don't know yet. At least I don't. But in addition to the in-game cosmetics, there's the Twitch drop. We've got a ton of new stuff for you to cop next season. And on top of that, we also have an upcoming sale that we're very excited to talk about, which is going to start on April 10th and run until the 23rd, and that is going to be 30% off on the game. So if you're looking to pick up a second account or get your friends into the game, it will be 30% off from the 10th to the 23rd. And aside from that, we do have one other announcement. Rayson and I, as well as some of the community
23rd?
team, have been working on some updates to the creator program. I'm not going to go into specific details about it right now because there will be an update on the FAQ. But basically, we're just looking to work more closely with creators and improve the creator program so that we can try to expand it to every region. Right now, it's very difficult for us to work with people outside of the NA and EU areas, but we're trying to make sure that we can include everybody that qualifies and also give you guys more incentives, give you more to look forward to. So look forward to that. Pretty soon we will do an announcement on the Discord. Grayson, is there anything that you wanted to talk about on the community side?
So we can expect some upcoming community events with this next wipe. As far as the details, I think it would be really cool for us to have some PvE related community events this upcoming season. So we'll have to see what's going to come.
All right, well, keep your eyes and ears peeled, folks. We will see you all very soon. That is all for us today, but like I said, keep your eyes on the patch notes. I went and looked at what was coming up with the update. We covered some very cool stuff here, but there's plenty more to come that people are going to be very happy about. So keep an eye on it. Again, April 10th. Maintenance is scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. KST, but obviously we know things can change. So we are looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Thank you all for coming tonight. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank you all very much, guys.
All right. Well, Well, let's go over the notes real quick. I'm not really sure how to feel about it, to be honest. So first things first, they said that everything they talked about is not everything that's going to be on the wipe. They pretty much said they're leaving more than half of it a surprise. So I guess we'll get to see. I think we'll just go over it. So first of all, there's new monsters. They showed two of them, the Abomination, the Cerberus. This looks sick. That's going to be pretty dope. 3-headed dog and looks like a Left 4 Dead monster. It's pretty sick. They were talking about how there's going to be like a boss mechanic change. This is going to be interesting. So they said some bosses are going to drop items. And I think they said like items that you craft to make keys. And then I think you go in with the keys and you spawn the bosses in, and you'll be able to choose which boss you want to spawn in. So I think that's a good idea. I'm not really sure how it's going to work though. Like, is it only going to be is it going to be a door you open, or like 3 doors and you choose which door you want to spawn in, like per boss or whatever, and you get to decide, like, is it only one that can spawn in per game? Like, if somebody else already spawned one in, will you not be able to spawn yours in? Can you bring in multiple, like, can you farm the sub-bosses for the craftable gear, bring them out, and then come in with a shit ton and just spawn in, like, 5 bosses? Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work. That's going to be interesting. They were talking about the new monster designs are really good, and, you know, it looks pretty good, just from what they showed in the Abomination and Cerberus. They were talking about a monster system that they were working on to make the monsters a lot cooler, and I guess they were talking about how it's almost finished, but a lot of the stuff they're saying, they don't really give like an absolute on anything. They're kind of just like, kind of, we're almost done, maybe. So it's kind of hard to, like, we have to guess on a lot of things. They talked about the water map. Still isn't ready. unlucky, bro. It's not going to be on this swipe. They said there was too many issues, like technical issues with the game that they need to fix first because they don't want to drop the map and then still have a lot of fundamental issues of the game, which I think they were talking about, like, I think they want to fix the shield problem. Like, shield's not working, move speed issues. They were talking about all that, which they kind of have to for casters right now. Casters don't have B-hopping, so they're kind of cooked right now. I don't know what you're supposed to do as a caster, especially in solos. There's a craftable spellbook. That's going to be cool. It was called the Tome of Shoal, I think. So that's cool. That's a W. We needed that. They said new merchants coming soon. They said it's going to be a lot different than the other merchants and how you interact with it, but they didn't give any more details. A lot of this stuff's kind of a secret. They were talking about the quests. There's going to be 12 weeks of quests. A lot more quests than last time. They said the later quests, like the last few weeks of quests, are going to be a lot harder, but the rewards are going to be really good. So that'll be cool. Though there are probably going to be a lot more cosmetic rewards and stuff like that, is what I'm guessing. Or, possibly the rewards will be like unique gear instead of legendary. So that'll be cool. They hinted at the HR leaderboards, and then they were talking about how they don't want to promise it on wipe day. So they said maybe mid-season, just for fun. The three examples they had up was Cave Dweller, Ghost Hunter, and Wyvern Slayer. So that'll be interesting. They talked about Arena. They said there was going to be a solo queue league. So solo queue, not as in 1v1. Solo queue is in you can only queue in as a solo into random teams of 3. So so you don't solo queue in and you're fighting a pre-made and get slammed. So that'll probably be a good thing. And they said it might be on rotation 1 week, it might not. They didn't give a specific answer on that. They were talking about class stacking, and yeah, they're talking about, I don't really know what they were saying. They said they want to fix it, but they can't. They don't know if the population of the arena can support it because the player base is kind of small. So, like, I guess with this solo queue, it's a lot easier for them to do that because people will go in solos, and so they can kind of, like, pick and choose which classes go on which teams, I guess. They'll make a system for that or something like that. I don't even know. Yeah, so there's the new PvE mode, the adventure mode. It's going to be a looter kind of co-op experience, fantasy simulator they're talking about. There's going to be 3 modes. Adventure mode, I'm not sure what this is. I don't even know if they even... I guess there's like 3 different tiers of modes here. There's going to be adventure mode. Say you go over here to the map, I think this is where it's going to show. Adventure mode, there's going to be normal mode, which... There's not going to be 0 to 24s anymore. It's going to be 0s to 125s, which I guess they got to reduce the queues because there's too many queues, and they're adding more since this is going to be PvE mode as well. Adventure mode is PvE mode. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is PvE mode. I guess, did they talk about, like, there's no gear score, is there? Could you go in there with, like, just straight juice? Can you go in there with, like, full uniques and full gore and slam the troll in, like, 3 hits and just farm pelts? Yes? Okay, well, looks like adventure mode, you can go in there. They were talking about how, like, they want, like, the MMO aspect of how, like, you go to, like, the town or something and you're fully juiced and, like, the new players get to see you and you're like, oh, man, that's so cool. So I guess that's kind of why they wanted that. They wanted that experience, which I think is a cool idea. Like, there's no harm in that, except the fact that you will be able to farm pelts. You will be able to farm wolf pelts and troll pelts and all that. So, that's going to be interesting, how that's going to work. The pelt price is probably going to tank, which I guess may not be a bad thing. That means a lot of people will get bags for cheaper and stuff like that. All the craftables will be a lot cheaper since you can just get it in PvE mode. But the issue is, well, we'll see how this ends up happening, because I think they also mentioned the first 2 to 4 weeks is going to be SSF only, so it's not like the market is going to be saturated off rip too, because it's going to be SSF. So, like, I guess it won't matter until the market actually releases a month out. So we'll just have to see how that happens. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. HR, 0 to 224, and then 225 plus. Those are the 2 gear score brackets. It's nice. There's no more 124 to 224. You can actually go in Squire gear now, so that should be really nice. Because, for a lot of experienced players, you can just go in Squire. Like, trying to figure out your gear score to get in is kind of annoying. So, like, you can actually just go in and literally do piss to bis runs, which is a W. So that'd be fun. Yeah, they were talking about like how are they going to prevent griefing in the PvE mode, and they were talking about the collision, how they're going to make it so they can't like block you off in doorways and stuff like that. But we'll just see how that works out. They didn't really, I don't know if they have that all fleshed out yet. But yeah, as far as like they gave an example of like hit slowing somebody with daggers, like that's still a thing. So like you can still grief people. I don't know if they're even gonna fix that, but we'll see. What will the loot look like in PvE mode? I think they said uncommon to rare is what they were talking about. They said epics will still drop lions heads and gold chests, and craftables will be looted. So the pelts and stuff will be looted. So that'll be interesting. The PvE mode will be trios only, but you can fill or no fill. So you can go and buy yourself if you want. So it's not really trios only. I mean, yeah, it's not really trios only, but they just did this to save queue space because they don't have too many queues, or they have too many queues, and only having one where you can kind of just pick and choose if you want to go in alone is probably best. Let's see. Odin was talking about, he was asking if there's going to be inspect features, so you can like inspect somebody in PvE mode, and they said, nah. They were like, oh, that'd be kind of cool, but they haven't, that's not in yet, so there's that. Okay, and then they were talking about the actual loot changes to the actual game. They said kind of the same thing. Mobs up to wait, they said the mobs are up to epic. Gold chest, lion's head, and bosses are going to drop legendaries. And they said in HR circle staying, this is for normals. In HR circle staying, they want to incentivize more people pushing for PvP, so it's going to be way more competitive. That's why the ring's staying. They were talking about how they admitted, I mean, they even admitted in the last Tavern Talk how the risk was probably not going to be worth it, the reward, because they didn't implement that yet, but looks like they changed things. So for 224 High Roller, there's going to be no artifacts, but they will drop uniques. And I'm guessing they're going to tune up the drop rate for uniques, is what they were kind of hinting at. So it should drop better gear. 225 plus, I think they're increasing the likelihood of getting names. Couldn't get a concrete answer on that. It's hard to kind of decipher what they're saying, but that's kind of what I got out of that. So there's that. Oh yeah, they were talking about how, like, yeah, I probably already mentioned it, more than half the stuff is just going to be a secret to Wipe Day, so we'll just have to see what they decide to add. And then we have Wipe confirmed. The day is April 10th, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we all know the shit's not going to drop on time, so rip. 6 a.m. Eastern, so that's okay, so that's 3 a.m. Pacific. That's actually kind of gas, dude. That's actually a really good time, because you know it's probably going to be like a 6 to 8 hour if it's not going to be delayed, and if it's going to be delayed, it might be another 12 hour, but we'll see. Yeah, STF was talking. They were pretty sad. Gathering Hall got pushed back again. They said it's like a big project and it's going to take a couple more months. So unlucky, bro. We knew it was coming. We knew it wasn't going to drop. What can you do? Is Fog of War staying? Yep, Fog of War staying. Unfortunately. Yeah, and then they were hinting at new artifacts and combat stuff are coming mid-season, stuff like that. That's what STF was saying, but who really knows when. So Twitch drops will be added here. Looks like from April 12th to the 23rd. So it looks like 2 days after Wipe Day, Twitch drops will drop. And they pulled on the screen like a cool lantern as one of them. Has like a tongue and stuff and blinking eyes. So their cosmetics are really getting good. They're like really getting good at upping them. So that'll be cool. And it's going to be for 2 weeks. And there's going to be it's going to take a lot longer to get the redemption on the rewards. So they said there's going to be a lot more rewards. It's going to be better. So that's cool. And then lastly, they just leaked a lot of cosmetics that are purchasable in-game. They got the Gilded Lobby cosmetic, which is like, looks like a goblin cave with like gold in the background. And there's like a goose laying gold eggs and stuff. That's kind of cool. And then sitting at the chair was the Gilded Skeleton cosmetic skin, which is the skeleton with the crown on it. So, and it looks like he has like a metal chest piece. It looks kind of cool. And then they were saying there's a new torch skin. The game's going to be on sale from the 10th to the 23rd, 30% off if you want another account. Or if you got banned for cheating, you can just buy another account. So, W. updates to the creator program. They're trying to expand it to all regions, and that's pretty much all she wrote. I don't think that's it. So the major things for this wipe, looks like everything is staying the same map-wise. Maps aren't changing whatsoever. So unlucky. The coolest thing, in my opinion, is probably going to be Abomination Cerberus and whatever new mobs. They said there's going to be a lot more mobs too. But these look sick. These look gas. So I'm hyped for that. PvE mode. So a few new monsters. What else? The loot changes. The drop rate for HR and normals. It's changed a bit. Solo queue into arena. I mean... Oh, the boss mechanic. That'll be interesting. Being able to get the craftables and take them out of dungeon and bring it back in and spawning bosses. That'll be cool. But other than that, I don't... Like, am I missing something, chat? That's pretty much it. Yeah. So all the maps are same. Just a few more monsters. W Iron Mace. So are we cooked? we might be cooked, bruh. Holy. New weapons.
Listen, hear me out.
New news? They didn't say new weapons, no.
Somebody has to
no
say
new
it,
weapons. But who knows? They did say there's going to be a lot more stuff we don't know about. So
listen, hear me out.
Just give us Morningstar.
Harpy's kind of thick.
Just give us Morningstar.
Somebody has to say it, dude.
The Warlocks hold the Morningstar, bro. Warlock with Wolf, that shit would go hard for Playlock. Playlock still sucks.
Manosphere? Don't do it. God damn it.
Unlucky, boys. Alright, how are we feeling? What do we think? Should I put a poll up? Are we cooked or not?
Oh, Manosphere? Don't do it. God damn it.
Wipe's on the 10th. It's in 8 days. So, should be next Thursday?
Listen, hear me out. Harpy's kind of thick. Somebody has to say it, dude.
Unlucky, bro. I'm sitting at a weird angle and I'm not trying to sit up, so what's up? Same thing. Times 4? Oh my god. I'm really small right now, dude. Pause. Playing some after wipe? Oh, for sure, dude. And you know what they normally do. The first couple weeks of wipe, the loot is crazy, so you gotta farm all your good shit early before they nerf it. 2 more? Okay, we gotta put a limit on that. Oh no. Why I got 150k urban bucks? God bless, dude. That's a frock ton. No way you're surging, dude. That's crazy. Oh, not the wall. Oh my god, he's cooking. Okay, he won. Yeah, that guy's cooking with the buckler. God damn. 2 more flexes? No, I didn't tell you to spam it, dude. Your fault. Oh, the fucking SDF turtle still on screen? Oh, let me get this shit out of here, dude. Where are you at? Well, GG's, boys. Yeah. How we feeling about wipe? Wipe's a W or nah?
Listen, hear me out. Harpy's kind of thick. Somebody has to say it, dude.
back to Elden Ring. Low key, I was supposed to go to bed after I got off streaming Elden Ring yesterday. I was getting kind of locked in on Elden Ring. I gotta say, dude. The map was getting kind of gas. First game 11 uninstalled. Damn. Yo, push this bastard, dude. Oh, there's 3 of them, dude. This shit is lasting 1,000 years. PvE Mode's gonna make normals feel dead? Oh, that's right. Yeah, what's the point of going into normals now, right? Yeah, that's actually crazy. Dude, you have buckler. It's not fair, dude. That shit is so busted, dude. Buckler is so busted. This shit is so busted. He is kind of crazy with it, too, though. I should have put on a buckler, dude. Damn, I'm throwing. He's crazy with the blocks, though. They said drop rates for quests, good items will be lower in PvE mode. Yeah, but who gives a fuck, you know what I'm saying? The PvE mode's gonna be boss farming simulator, for sure. For, like, troll pelts and shit. Like, nobody's gonna be in normals. What are we doing? Are you hiding, bro? What are we doing? Playing with 2 rogues, this is crazy work. This guy's playing like a rogue. And he just runs away from me instantly. That's wild. He's so fast. He'll get this shirt off. Damn it. Not the... What do we do? What do we do? Range and Ranger, dude. Range and Ranger, dude. Stuck. Oh, GG's, bro. Unlucky, bro. Yeah, man, I don't know. I normally am hyped about that stuff. I was not hyped seeing that. The monsters were cool. That was a W. Oh, man. Try not to be a doomer, but like nothing is gonna change. You're such a fucking pussy, dude. You play Warlock like a pussy, dude. Holy. It's in 8 days. I don't even want to. I don't even want to play. Like what? I don't know what the point of playing right now. I don't know, dude. It's definitely gonna be an Elden Ring angle for sure, boys. Like we've done this wipe. This should have wiped like a month ago. It's so boring right now. And I'm really hoping the game is not super boring. Like 3-4 weeks in, like SSF's gonna be a good thing, but like, man, literally nothing's changing.
Dude, must be nice to have people carry you. Look at your damage.
You're literally Warlock, you fucking chode. Abusing Phantom Eyes, dude. Low T, bruh.
Oh, you couldn't find me, little man.
Look at this guy. Illusory Warlock with Kuma's Zerks. You are fucking bad at the game. Crazy. They talked about changing the quest completely, did they? They said there's going to be 12 weeks of quests. There's going to be a lot more quests and a lot more cosmetics. I'm not doing PvP, man. I'm not doing PvP. Forget about that shit. Alright, we're done. This game sucks. I can't play anymore. Like there's no point in playing. We're going Elden Ring. Like, there's nothing to do. Like what? New quest type? I don't think so. There's literally nothing to do. I can't even force myself to play it, then. I can't even do it. If I'm not taking pants in dungeon, like, what's even the point? Yeah, they talked about that way before. Who knows if they're even... They didn't talk about that at all today. Like, who knows if they're even going to add it. Like, they say a lot of things, and then it just... Like, for the water map, for instance, they said it last wipe it was coming, then they said it was coming this wipe, and then it's not this wipe anymore. Now it's next season. So it's like... You can't really hold anything, you know, they say anymore, unfortunately. Oh, these... Okay, that's what they said. Okay, interesting. Ooh, rotten stray ashes. Oh, that's a summon, dude. I'm a man. We don't use summons over here. What the fuck? I am doing no damage. Oh, I'm fucking cooked. Oh, we're fucking cooked here, boys. Hold up. Oh, oh. Son of a bitch. Oh, screen black? Okay, no worries. It's not like I didn't just get cooked. I have to change this. My bad, boys. My bad, my bad. Where's it at? Where's it at? This, like, spot outside Caelid's fucking tough. Screen looking like Rotox. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna end stream here. And I'm gonna eat some food. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna hop back on and actually game. Because I'm fucking starving, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Maybe I'll drop the fucking updated thing. If for those who weren't here. when we went over it. But yeah, I'm gonna fucking pause, eat some food. I'll be back on in like